Hey guys, welcome back to Ubunifu TV. My name is Mukamdali and as always your host at Ubunifu TV. I've met this beautiful, intelligent and incredibly innovative lady who will tell us about her innovation and definitely introduce herself to us and tell us how we can have such wonderful innovations in our urban setting, in your apartment, balconies and so forth to solve a very special issue that I know is into your heart. Kindly introduce yourself.
Yeah. So my name is Pramila Nekesamibanda, the co-founder at Urban Smart Gardeners, which is based at Juja. Our main concept is we're trying to provide kitchen gardens for people living in urban areas, and not just kitchen gardens, but urban farming solutions. And how we go about this is we've developed garden systems like you're seeing behind me here, which we are using to enable people to grow their own food in urban areas. The challenge which we're trying to tackle is we find most people in urban areas can't be able to grow their own food because of limited spaces, and they have to go to the soko and buy the food that is available. The other problem with getting the food that's available there, it's either contaminated because of the water source which is being used, or it's just not nutritionally beneficial to their body. So they just eat what is there, but if they had a choice, they'd go a different direction. That choice which we are wanting to offer is the gardens which we are providing here. So we do the vertical garden systems. We have different innovations of irrigation from capillary wick to drip, which we incorporate into our gardens so that they are more efficient and increase the productivity.
You talked about drip system that is called capillary wick.
Yes.
What does that entail?
So capillary wick entails, if you remember, some of us were, when they were very young, there's that light which our grandmother used to use. You fill it with kerosene and then the kerosene will just be pulled by the wick material. So it's the same concept. If you plant a container in a container and you provide it with a wick material with a reservoir at the bottom, it's able to suck water and provide the plant with enough water which it needs. So it really saves on water because the plant will only take up what it needs. The rest will just stay in the reservoir and be used when the plant needs it. Yes.
Finally, Koroboi has become relevant somewhere. The capillary wick, the Koroboi, right?
Exactly, yes.
It has become relevant somewhere. I used to wonder where it will become relevant. Thank you for bringing that to us. So can you tell us probably what is the advantage of using this kind of innovation that you've come up with against, say, if I have a huge backyard where I can just grow my vegetables or so?
Yeah. So maybe I start with the baseline whereby in Kenya we know most of the foods actually which you consume, they come from smallholder farmers. So large scale doesn't really apply in Kenya. It's not really practical because most people have small pieces of land. So the advantages of having our system is no matter how small of a space you have, we want to maximize it as much as possible. Like the system you're seeing here, currently it's double the space. So the number of plants you will plant on the ground has been doubled. So you're using more space. The other thing with our system, because of the irrigation systems which we're using, you're saving the amount of water which you're using when you plant directly on the ground. When you pour, you notice when you pour water directly on the ground, it's going to seep and dry out very quickly. Number one, because the soil is hot, so the rate of water loss is quite high. And the other thing is water is being competed by other organisms and other plants, and the soil itself, because the soil has to hold moisture. So it will take up more moisture other than the systems which we have over here.
And I've seen you are using very simple materials to come up with this thing. Maybe you can tell us probably what was the thinking behind using such kind of materials.
So in urban areas, we realize, the other systems which are out there are quite complex. For us, the agenda was how can we help solve this problem of food insecurity and people wanting to grow their own food with what is readily available. So because we find most people who have a small area, they've built their house. They have some pipes which are remaining. Instead of having that as waste, how can we use them and salvage them? So that's the idea behind it. Use readily available materials which ideally will be waste, but you make them useful.
Okay.
Yes.
And probably can you just take us through briefly of how this system will work, because it has a whole irrigation system and then there's the very beautiful healthy vegetables that are currently growing on this system. It's not just a story. So can you probably just take us in very fast on how the system works?
So the system, I'd say first of all, you can see there's a tank up there that serves as a reservoir. It's been connected to various drips.
So that's the water reservoir?
Yes, that's the water reservoir, which is 50 liters and can supply this for a whole week. Then you find there are drips which have been fixed inside the garden, and that is what supplies the plants with water. We've prepared our media, which is the soil that we use to grow the plants which are here. So we put the soil inside the pipes, which we've made holes, and then that's when we plant our seedlings. Yes.
And why have you chosen spinach, no sukuma wiki that we are used to?
So the system actually can accommodate spinach, sukuma wiki, managu, and other vegetables. like onions as well. So the reason why we did this at the moment is because those are the seedlings which we had at the moment. But we can plant other systems on the other crops on the system.
Okay. Yes. And probably just for the sake of our viewer, such a setup, this one I think it can be able to serve me vegetables for almost a year. How much would it take you to set such a system in my space? And you can also talk about the dimensions of the system.
So the system, the ones which you're seeing right now currently, it sits on an area that is 4 meters squared, and the number of plants which are here are 100, and it can even accommodate up to 120 or higher depending on how high you go. A system like this will cost you 37,000 shillings, and that is inclusive of how you're seeing the setup is. That is a stand, the pipes, the seedlings, the soil, then we come do the service for you. So if you contact us, we'll come and leave you with a garden that ideally needs to be harvested within 4 weeks. The other thing also is once we set up a garden with you and we've made that interaction with you, you're always free to call us and we give you the support that you need to ensure that the garden is managed and functioning fully.
And for the price of 37,000, as you have said, after how long do you approximate maybe someone will be able to break even and say they're making something out of this system?
So for a system like this, you're able to harvest like every week. For a family like 6, this can be able to feed them throughout for a month, for example, every week they'll be harvesting twice. Okay. So the money which they'll be using to spend like on buying vegetables, you see, has been cut down. The other issue maybe which you may overlook is these vegetables are safe and you know the source of production. So issues which you may have regarding your health are not really there. So you see you're cutting down on issues like the hospital bill. Yes. Yeah. But also because this system is at 7,000, it's more elaborate and it's a bit bigger. But we have other versions which are smaller and can accommodate, you know, the pockets of other people. Like we have systems which are 8,000 shillings and they are a bit smaller. But also other than just having these systems, we have others which are tailor-made to suit the space and the budget which people have. But that one we have to talk with people so that we just come to an agreement.
And probably before you can tell us where people can get you, I've seen you have grown some, probably my favorite vegetable right here. Yes. I don't know why you did not include it here, but I can see you have some very healthy pili-pili here that we will talk business immediately. We will talk business. But this one now you've grown it in a plastic bag. Does it still have the same concept, or what informs now the plastic bag?
The plastic bag is a way of just maximizing on the space. That's it, like in the garden which we have. First, we love every space to be filled with plant. So some we cannot put the pipes directly on the ground, so that's why we use the bags. But the idea is if you're in an urban area and you don't have a ground to plant, how can you be able to grow plants? It can be in a bag, it can be in these containers with a more elaborate system. It can be just simple demarcations you make where you can hold the soil and still irrigate and have your plants.
Okay, so when someone wants such a system set up in their garden or probably even in their balcony, how can they contact Urban Smart Gardeners? So
Urban Smart Gardeners, you can reach us via our phone numbers. We have 2 of them, 0729 704 164 or 0705 949 960. We're also located at Juja, Greenfields area. That's where our demo farm is, and we encourage people to come to the demo farm so that they see actually what we're doing, and then we can work projects with them. But we can also be found on various social media platforms. That is Urban Smart Gardeners on Facebook and on Twitter, even as well as Instagram, so that you can see the work which we're doing.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Pramila. Did I get that right? Oh, okay. Thank you very much. This is Ubunifu TV, and as always, I'm your host, Muka Mdali, and I hope that we will get a chance also to come to your garden so that we can be able to show our viewer even more of the innovations you guys have that they can be able to use for their kitchen garden. This is Ubunifu TV. Kindly don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share our content. Thank you. See you in our next episode.